The newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. President Bongbong Marcos has outlined his plans for the agriculture sector, from increasing food production to providing subsidies. Mobile journalist Julie Baisa with a story.
Even during the campaign period, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. placed emphasis on the agriculture sector, with his promise to bring down the price of rice to 20 pesos per kilo. Now that Marcos Jr. is also the concurrent agriculture chief, it's no longer surprising that the industry took center stage in his first State of the Nation address. The president outlined his plan to increase food production in the next planting season through delivering financial and technical assistance to farmers.
Ang mga pautang at financial assistance sa mga magbubukid at mangingisda ay magiging institusyon at patakaran ng aking administrasyon.
PBBM also promised fuel subsidy, cheaper fertilizer, pesticides, seeds and feeds for farmers, piggeries and poultry farms. But the chief executive also did the unexpected. He requested the Congress to free agrarian reform beneficiaries from their debt burdens.
The condonation of the existing agrarian reform loan will cover the amount of 58.125 billion pesos, benefiting 654,000 agrarian reform beneficiaries and involving a total of 1.18 million hectares of awarded lands.
Marcos Jr. also mentioned the establishment of the National Farm-to-Market Road Network to ensure the faster delivery of agricultural goods to consumers. He also wants to reinstate the Kadiwa centers that were first introduced during Marcos Sr.'s time. Despite all this, the president admits it will take time for his administration to execute these plans.
Hindi ito magagawa sa isang araw. Hindi magagawa sa isang buwan o isang taon lamang. Ngunit, kailangan na natin simulaan ngayon.
Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. promised to implement a sound fiscal management to help the Philippine economy recover and expand in the coming years. The chief executive says the government will simplify the tax system to make it easier for Filipinos to pay their dues. Among the tax reforms he will push for is imposing VAT on digital service providers.
Our tax system will be adjusted in order to catch up with the rapid developments of the digital economy, including the imposition of value-added tax on digital service providers. The initial revenue impact will be around 11.7 billion pesos in 2023 alone.
Marcos Jr. also did a recap of his administration's economic growth projections, including increasing the country's GDP to 6.5 to 7.5% by the end of 2022, bringing down inflation rate to 2.5 to 4.5% in 2023, and reducing poverty rate to a single-digit figure of 9% by the end of his term in 2028. Mobile journalist Julie Baisa, We Are One News.
A Business World economist has backed President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s push for a tax on digital services. Speaking earlier on Business World Live, Action for Economic Reform's co-founder and coordinator, Filomeno Santa Ana III, said that the digital taxation has to be done given a lot of tax avoidance in the sector. He, however, warned that more taxes may need to be introduced. In his first SONA, Marcos Jr. said the government's tax system would be adjusted to include the imposition of value-added tax on digital service providers, noting that the government is projected to generate 11.7 billion pesos in income.
So the digital tax can help, but the amount, as you said, is 11.7. That is not sufficient, and some other taxes would have to be introduced. My point is, the digital taxation might not be enough, and in this regard, we are proposing, and in fact, the Department of Finance likewise has proposed other tax measures that can be done, which will not impede growth.
More stories after this short break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Migrant Workers and the Foreign Affairs Departments are set to hold bilateral talks with Saudi Arabia. This is in relation to the lifting of the deployment ban on Saudi Arabia, which has been in effect since last year. Migrant Workers Secretary Toots Ople says guidelines should be set to ensure the safety of workers to be deployed. Lifting the Saudi deployment ban was among those mentioned by President Marcos in his first SONA.
Pinaka-focus at sentro at puso ng magiging bilateral talks ay yung karapatan pantao ng bawat OFW. Hindi dapat merong kinakawawa, nilalapastangan, pinagmamalupitan na OFW. So yun ang sama-sama namin titiyakin.
Social Welfare Secretary Erwin Tulfo says they are now working on the order of President Bongbong Marcos during his first SONA. Secretary Tulfo said they are now cleaning the list of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program or 4Ps. 1.3 million beneficiaries will be removed from the program, while 600,000 families are still needed to be interviewed. President Marcos ordered DSWD to clean up the 4Ps beneficiaries list during his first SONA.
Sa tedious process, baka naman may mahagip kami, sir. Aalisin namin, hindi pa dapat. So kailangan talaga pag-aralan.
Pope Francis has apologized for the Catholic Church's role in Canada's policy to forcibly assimilating Native people into Christian society. That led to generations of trauma and abuse. Let's watch this.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
De Massachusetts y de esta tierra canadiense.
Those moccasins also speak to us of a path to follow.
Estoy dolido. Pido perdón en particular por el modo en que muchos miembros de la Iglesia y de las comunidades religiosas cooperaron, también por medio de la indiferencia, en esos proyectos de destrucción cultural y asimilaron forzadas de los gobiernos de la época que finalizaron en el sistema de las escuelas residenciales.
Culminated in the system of residential schools. I realize too that our meeting today can bring back.
Lo que la fe cristiana nos dice es que fue un error devastador, incompatible con el Evangelio de Jesucristo. Duele saber que ese terreno compacto de valores, lengua y cultura que confirió a sus pueblos un sentido genuino de identidad, duele saber que haya sido erosionado y que ustedes siguen pagando los efectos. Frente a este mal que indigna, la Iglesia se arrodilla ante Dios y le implora perdón por los pecados de sus hijos. Quisiera repetir con vergüenza y claridad: pido perdón humildemente por el mal que tantos cristianos cometieron contra los pueblos indígenas.
Past months, I think back on the tragic honesty and practical wisdom.
Queridos hermanos y hermanas, muchos de ustedes y de sus representantes han afirmado que las disculpas no son un punto de llegada. Concuerdo perfectamente. Constituyen solo el primer paso, el punto de partida. También soy consciente que mirando hacia el pasado nunca será suficiente lo que se haga para pedir perdón y buscar reparar el daño causado, y mirando hacia el futuro nunca será poco lo que se haga para generar una cultura capaz de evitar que estas situaciones no solo no se repitan, sino que no encuentren espacios. Una parte importante de este proceso es hacer una seria búsqueda de la verdad acerca del pasado y ayudar a los supervivientes de las escuelas residenciales a realizar procesos de sanación por los traumas sufridos.
Now here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The vape bill, or the legislative measure seeking to regulate vaporized nicotine and non-nicotine products, has lapsed into law. One person was injured while another one died from heart attack after a fire broke out in Makati. And Filipina actress Liza Soberano makes her first TV guesting in South Korea. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.